He was an American. He was born in 1918 and died in 1978. This is a quote: "Photography is a small voice. It is an important voice in my life, but it's not the only one. I believe in it. And if it's well conceived, it sometimes works." And this was by Eugene Smith. He was born in Wichita, Kansas, and learned photography from his mother, and really got serious about the age of 14 years old. And he had his childhood is what you call typical until his father committed suicide during his senior year in high school. And some are thought to believe that that's when his camera really became an obsession, and it helped him deal with tragic loss. Smith's face and hands were severely injured in 1945 by a grenade, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. It was a major turning point in his life. He lived in New York, and then he moved to Tucson in 1977 to teach at the University of Arizona, and in 1978 he died of a stroke. He worked for Newsweek, Life, and he freelanced for Collier's, American, New York Times, and Harper Bazaar magazine. During his career, he photographed 26 carrier combat missions, 13 invasions in the Pacific and Europe, and they were on land, sea, or in the air. He was also a member of Magnum. In 1984, he was inducted into the International Photography Hall of Fame. And when he was inducted for his revolutionary photojournalism and setting the standard for the photo essay. After he left Life magazine, he went out on his own, and he produced 1,100 pictures. And he moved to Pittsburgh, and he devoted everything to it. He ended up being physically, emotionally, and financially exhausted. And all the photographs that he took out of the 1,100, only 5 of them were actually exhibited. From that collection. I like the composition here in this picture. It's amazing. It's incredible. The lighting, the way it's framed. Here's one of his of taking photos of migrant workers. Here's one of this is from Spain, and it was a girl carrying loaves of homemade bread to the local bakery. When he was working for Life magazine, he was over covering World War II. And this is a picture of a Marine, a U.S. Marine, holding a wounding and dying baby that they had found in the mountains. Smith had this incredible talent that he was just legend. He legendly was able to photograph emotionally charged and truthful images. It was important to Smith to photograph the war with heart and preciseness. I like this one because when you look at it in the beginning, you just kind of see the smoke here, and you don't see that there's actually people here. He, like I said, just had this great talent of just getting this awesome composition and really being able to capture the subject itself. I chose this picture because even though it was taken in 1950, it's, to me, the composition of it would be something that would remind me back, like in the pictorialism movement. Just really like the composition in this, and actually like the art to it. It's an art form. Here's Sugar Ray Robinson. This is Eugene Smith's most iconic picture, and this is of his 2 children. And in May 22nd, 1945, during the invasion of Okinawa, his face and hands were, like I said, were severely injured by a grenade. And after 2 years of surgery, recovery, he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to be a photographer again. He could barely hold a camera, but he had this really strong need and desire to make images that were signs of hope and happiness. And he was determined that his first photograph that he took after his injury, that it would be a contrast to the war photographs, and that it would truly speak of now affirmations of life after he had taken all those years or all those pictures of the war covering death. His photojournalistic methods were cutting edge, they were brilliant. And he refused to, here's more, sorry. He refused to allow like any of his photographs and their layouts to be anything other than his own personal vision. So he ended up leaving Life magazine because of that. There's another. There's great composition. Here's a self-portrait. Here is Eugene Smith in his studio in the 70s. I think this is another spectacular picture that he has taken. You can see the shadow on the water, the point of view this was taken from, the lighting. I mean, it's incredible. It's almost like you're standing on the hill across the water seeing it. So his significance was that he did humanistic photography, and he set the standard for photo essays. So these amazing photo essays. He was supported by Gingham Fellowship grants. And he sought to touch the viewer's emotions and inspire them to work for social justice. And some of his most powerful photographs, or he's known for some of the most powerful photographs in the history of photojournalism. Like I was saying before, being able to really capture what was going on and the subjects itself, whether it was an event or a person. His work was direct, refreshing, and often very optimistic, especially after the destruction of World War II.